Hey Commanders fans, get ready, because today we have exclusive news about our team, and you can't miss a single detail. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, activate the bell to receive everything firsthand, and of course, leave a like to strengthen our fan base and show that we only have true fans here. Our commitment is to always bring you the latest updates, news, and everything that happens behind the scenes of Commanders. So without further ado, let's check out today's news.
The sudden change of a little-known commander sets the stage for a major career revitalization. It's fascinating to observe this dynamic. The Washington Commanders are finally getting some of their injured players back. Several key figures were ruled out for the entire season long ago, but Coach Dan Quinn can take comfort in the fact that some are starting to improve their fitness levels for the final stretch of the season. And because of a trade during the season that went almost unnoticed, there's now a chance to resurrect his career when all hope seemed lost. These returns didn't come in time to save the season. The Commanders are officially eliminated from the wildcard race, so the goal now is to regain respect and evaluate the roster before the crucial 2026 offseason. The Commanders could receive a surprising boost if Drake Jackson plays well. Drake Jackson joined the Commanders at the beginning of this season. The defensive end knows Adam Peters well from their time playing together on the San Francisco 49ers. Even so, he was immediately placed on the injured reserve list to continue his recovery from a serious problem. The USC graduate hasn't played since the 2023 season, but the front office is now considering giving him an opportunity. The Commanders activated Jackson from the injured list on Thursday. He took the place of veteran safety Darnell Savage Jr., who was released after being a reserve in the game against the Denver Broncos. Expecting miracles immediately is unrealistic, but there is an opportunity for the player, a second-round pick in the 2022 draft if he is called up. Washington lacks consistent pass rushers, especially since Dorrance Armstrong Jr. suffered a season-ending knee injury. Jacob Martin, Von Miller, Preston Smith, and linebacker Frankie Louvu have been trying to fill that gap, so Jackson's presence could add value to the team if he still has the stamina to play. It remains to be seen if he has enough. Jackson ruptured his patellar tendon during the 49ers training camp in 2024. Since then, he hasn't played in an official NFL game. It will be an exciting return if he's on the field this weekend against the Minnesota Vikings, and he'll undoubtedly be motivated enough to start strong if given the opportunity to play in the defensive rotation. The Commanders have nothing to lose by throwing Jackson into the proverbial storm. It's also worth remembering that the Vikings' offensive line can't be considered stellar by any means. It's quite vulnerable, so there could be.
The final stretch of the Commanders season will either silence or inflame criticism of Mike Sainristil. He's been quiet lately, but in a good way. The Washington Commanders defense has shown signs of improvement since head coach Dan Quinn took over the unit, but the next few weeks will either silence or inflame criticism surrounding second-year cornerback Mike Sainristil. Sainristil has become one of the Commanders' most controversial players this season. The exceptionally high standards he set as a rookie haven't been met this time around. However, there are signs that the former Michigan star is starting to show his best football. You probably didn't even realize Sainristil was playing for the Commanders during the painful overtime loss to the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football, and for the best possible reason. He was a constant target for coverage throughout the season and frequently seen following completely open receivers, but that wasn't the case in Week 13. The coaches are seeing signs of recovery in Mike Sainristil after the change of role. He performed well, and Quinn made a point of acknowledging that. Dan Quinn said that in the game against Denver, Mike Sainristil and Josh Conerly stood out. That's what I wanted to see. Quinn said he felt that was our best game in the group stage, but still with a loss. So it's hard to say it was the best game. Overall, Sainristil's performance has improved significantly since he was moved from the slot to the outfield position, just as he did last season. He was forced to play on the outfield after season-ending injuries to Marshawn Lattimore and Trey Amos, but now it's clear he should remain in that position going forward. Still, he needs to work to solidify himself as the long-term mainstay he aspired to be last season. Despite managing 3 interceptions, Sainristil has been showing a negative trend this year. His performance in Washington's final 5 games of the season will be crucial in determining his value for his 3rd year with the team. In the best-case scenario, Washington can enter 2026 knowing they have a formidable duo of young cornerbacks, Sainristil and Amos, who demonstrated significant potential before his injury. If both live up to expectations, having them on rookie contracts for the next 2 years will be a major advantage. However, if Sainristil's problems resurface, it will raise questions about whether the Commanders need to spend another high draft pick to bolster their secondary defense.
Jaden Daniels of the Commanders will return to the team for the matchup against the Vikings. Jaden Daniels will return to the starting lineup when the Washington Commanders face the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday, giving the franchise the boost it needs to begin a 2-game road trip in Week 14. Washington comes into the matchup with a 3-9 record, while Minnesota is at 4-8. The game starts at 1 p.m. ET and will be broadcast on Fox. Coach Dan Quinn confirmed the decision Friday after the sophomore quarterback received medical clearance to play. Daniels participated fully in practice for the first time since suffering a dislocated elbow, indicating his likely availability before the official announcement. Ian Rappaport of NFL Network released the update Friday morning in a post on X, formerly known as Twitter. Quote, Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels has been medically cleared and will start Sunday against the Vikings. Coach Dan Quinn has just made the information official, but Daniels' full participation for the first time since dislocating his elbow on Thursday was already a strong indication. Jaden Daniels' return comes after a series of injuries that interrupted his promising start to the season. The 24-year-old dealt with a knee sprain, a hamstring strain, and an elbow injury suffered during Washington's 38-14 loss to the Seattle Seahawks in Week 9. The string of setbacks interrupted what had been a promising start to his second NFL season. In 6 games, Daniels accumulated 1,184 passing yards with 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, completing 62.5% of his passes. He has a passing accuracy of 94.4 and a quarterback accuracy of 51.3. His mobility also continues to be an important component of Washington's offense, with 262 rushing yards on 54 attempts, averaging 4.9 yards per carry. He also scored 2 rushing touchdowns and fumbled once. Jaden Daniels is expected to start in a game where the Commanders' playoff hopes hang by a thread against the Vikings. Washington's hopes of remaining mathematically alive in the playoff race depend on Sunday's outcome. NFL media executive Joe Ferreira outlined the team's playoff prospects earlier in the week in a post shared on X, noting the increasingly narrow path the Commanders face, despite still technically being in contention for the NFC East.